Getting a handle on your money is this wonderful combination of hard skills and soft skills. So, like basic project management, so you file your taxes on time, but also soft skills like how do I talk to my partner about money? How do I dream big about my future? Pulling that all together can be pretty tough, but here's a great new book to help you do that. Financial therapist, certified financial therapist, Erika Wasserman, has written a book called Conversations with Your Financial Therapist: Stories and Scripts to Grow Your Money Mindset. She joins us from South Florida. Hello there, Erika.
Hello, Bruce. How are you?
What is the problem that you are trying to solve with this book?
I am trying to solve the problem of money being such a hard topic to talk about, and one that's done in the deep, dark basement in a corner, right? A lot of times where shame grows and insecurities. And I want to bring it to light. I want
Mm,
to shine a big spotlight on it to say, let's talk about it. We all have it. We all have a relationship with money. So let's move it to the light and let's have some honest
mm.
conversations. But here's
We
the
are
thing.
on the same page. We are on the same page in that regard. You use the phrase money mindset. I think I know what you mean. Our listeners might not know what you mean. How do you define that phrase?
So, money mindset is how you feel about money or think about money. We
Mm,
get our money mindset from three main areas: our background, how your parents talked about money or didn't talk about money. Oh, we can never shop there. Oh, the refrigerator's empty because we didn't pay the bills, right? That's our background. Then we throw in religion and culture.
mm,
Money's greed. Culture, you take care of your community, your elders, the expectations that are there. And then the third is experience. So if you have a positive experience paying your credit card bills on time, you want to keep doing it. If you have a negative experience, then it starts stirring up things within inside of you, and we get this money mindset and we don't talk about it, and so we just
mm.
keep pattern repeating over and over again, and guess what, we pass it on to our kids.
Right. It can be pretty disempowering. All those things combined together into something that has people feel stuck and overwhelmed and all that. Rah, 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 rah. What's the most important thing to enable or empower people to craft a new story, to create a new money mindset for themselves?
It's like any hobby that you're starting. You have the opportunity to get better.
Mm,
But whatever you're doing right now, you're getting better at. And I'll use a great example of myself. I'm in a stage right now, right? We all go up and down, or maybe not all of us, going to the gym. It's not really on my high on my list right now,
mm,
which means I'm not very good with the times that I go. And so it doesn't feel very good when I go, and I'm sore for days after when I finally go. Versus when you're in a routine and you're building and building and building a new habit, you get stronger. The same with money conversations. They might be uncomfortable, you might be sore afterwards, have some bump and bruises on the inside, but the more you start having them, the better you're going to get, and the more consistent that you are, the easier it's going to feel.
mm. You address the major areas of one's life: career, a romantic relationship, maybe with a partner, and also family. You also include divorce, which we talked about on this program before. Tell us more about how your method can apply, regardless of which area you're going to focus on. What are some of the things that you take readers through?
Yeah, I wanted to use what I work with my clients, and bring this to the life, to the book. So that way anybody at home can start these conversations. They don't have to pay for a high priced financial therapist, right? They can start at home. And what I realize is we don't set up the conversations from the very beginning. So when I use the money mindset, M is make the conversation comfortable. What do I mean? Don't yell, "Hey, did you do the taxes?" as your partner is running out the door to work. That's not going to lead to a productive conversation. "Oh, no, I didn't do it
I
again."
think you're being very generous. I'm sure most people say it in a much more passive or passive aggressive or aggressive way than you just said.
Probably, right? We're trying to
Yeah.
keep this nice. But
Yes.
look, you talked about taxes earlier. That's what dinged me. I had a client who worked for herself, and her partner would come in and say, "Honey, I need your form so we can file the taxes." And she was embarrassed about her earnings because as an entrepreneur, she didn't have to report to anybody, and
Mm,
she didn't know how to share her numbers, and she didn't know where she stood. And so she was embarrassed. And so she kept putting it off. Well, what happens when you put something off?
Yeah, it doesn't get done. And you feel worse and worse and worse about it.
And the partner that's waiting on the stuff is getting more and more aggravated about it.
Yeah.
So that same dollar amount is going to be on that paperwork from last year no matter what, but the emotions that just built was more. So the first is make the conversation comfortable. What does that mean? Is think about when you've had a productive conversation before with that person, with your
Mm.
parents, with your kids. Is it driving in a car? Is it over coffee on Sunday morning? Mornings tend to have less decision fatigue than evening meetings.
Right.
So choosing your time and temperature, also if they've eaten or not, right, is important to start those conversations off on a healthy foot.
Then what?
Hmm. Keep to one topic. So let's go with the O because the acronym is money. One question at a time. So today we want to talk about co-parenting. Today we want to talk about travel soccer for Johnny.
Mm.
Stick to travel soccer for Johnny. Now is not the time to bring in, well, we bought your mom on Christmas 7 years ago. That money could have been used. That's not the time for it. One problem at a time. And if you have others, write a list. Pick another financial date. And then,
And
and we're going to nurture that shared goal. Why is it important for you for Johnny to play soccer? Well, I want him to be a team sport. Why is it important to you? I played soccer as a kid. I know what it could do for him.
mm,
Great. So now we're both on the same page.
and EY, Money, we're now EY. Yes.
E. Yes, E. E is my favorite one. Let's brainstorm solutions. So, what is your divorced family? We have travel soccer. How are we going to do travel games? One hotel room, two hotel rooms, my
Mm.
weekend, your weekend. Let's brainstorm what works best for our child. And heck, with ChatGPT, throw it in there, get some other options that you might not have thought of. But this is your time to brainstorm and maybe even set a timer and do the brainstorming yourself and then share ideas with one another.
Okay. And wrap it all up with the why.
The why is say yes to compassion.
Okay.
Right. Because this conversation, talk to the bumps and the bruises of being sore. This conversation might be awkward for you or the person sitting next to you. So build in compassion if that's going for a walk afterwards, taking some deep breaths, whatever you need to do, because it is tough to have these conversations for not just you, but everybody in the room.
One of the things that I really loved about the book, in addition to this framework, is the scripts. Give us an example of what you're going for in scripting this out. Like, it reads like a play or a movie script. It's that literal. What were you trying to give people with those examples?
I'm a curious person. I'm also an avid reader, but I'm always curious what people do, like for work, behind, when you're out for a walk, what's happening. We only see what's in our homes. And so it was important for me to give those scripts so people could actually see, as if they're sitting at my kitchen table, what
Mm.
that conversation could look like. Or back to the sports analogy that I was using, the co-parents, they ended up choosing a script. There's a script there outside at the picnic table, outside of basketball practice. And so now all of a sudden you could put yourself in that situation and see what a healthy conversation could look like. Because most of us haven't seen those healthy conversations before.
Right. What are some other examples? One of the ones that I read was with a credit card company. What are some other examples that just to pique people's curiosity about those scripts?
Yes. So another one that I see, and again, I'm in the sandwich generation, right? Is Avery's mom is diagnosed with early Alzheimer's. And so, how do you have that conversation with a
Mm.
parent who isn't necessarily ready to have those conversations with you, but you know you need to have them? And so, there's a script there of them coming home from the doctor's appointment, sitting shoulder to shoulder, talking about how they're going to move forward with some of these medical decisions, bills being paid, making sure there's not a gap. So that's
Mm.
another really important conversation where there's some scripts in there.
Really helpful stuff. Erika, thank you for joining us to talk about your book today.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Bruce.
Erika Wasserman is the author of Conversations with Your Financial Therapist: Stories and Scripts to Grow Your Money Mindset.